Hey Hall, it's Hey Hall. Hey everyone, this is Marsha, Kerr, Talley, and I just wanted to stop in tonight and share something that's dropped into my spirit today as I was talking to someone else, and I was sharing my experience of getting fed up, being so fed up of the same pattern, of the routine, of being in a toxic relationship, but repeating that constant pattern over and over. And when you get sick and tired of being sick and tired is literally the only time you're going to end that cycle. And I was sharing with this person who is dealing with this separation, where he's now in a place where he's ending ongoing situation in his relationship, and that for him it's coming to an end. But I shared with him the last time that we spoke, he was in a similar situation, in a similar position, I would say. And so, I can't be judgmental because literally I've been there. And I think a lot of us have been there. We've all been a fool for somebody. And you get to a point where, no, I can't do this anymore. But let me tell you what happens before you get to that point. You know the thing is bad for you, but you have so much love and history with that person, or even passion with them. And sexual energy can really drive us to do some dumb stuff. So you will deal with that, and you will put yourself even in a place of depression, in a depressive state. And when I say put yourself, the only reason I'm using that term put yourself is because if we made different choices, then we may not experience the level of anxiety, the level of stress, the level of unrest that we experience when we are dealing with relationships that are no longer good for us. Mind you, and I want you to bear this in mind, everything is seasonal. Every relationship has an expiration date. I don't know what that is, but you do. And you can tell when it's time for you to walk away from something or someone or that situation based on the results that you're yielding, based on the fruit you're yielding. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean that you cannot recoup or recover or rekindle, because there are relationships where that season ends, where the change comes in, where they've evolved from that place, because everything for there to be a regrowth, there has to be a death. And that looks different for everybody. So in your relationship, you may know that this is the end of an era, end of the trauma, end of the toxicity, end of the relationship. It is time for you to detach and disconnect. You may know that. For some relationships, it is the end, but it's also a new beginning, and you're staying with the same person. Only you know that, And only you and that person, and I think any relationship can truly work to be at a healthy stage and a healthy state if both people are willing to put in the work. If both people choose each other over and over, continuously choosing each other, then I do believe that you can have a healthy relationship for a lifetime. Now, again, I say that everything has an expiration date. We have an expiration date. So it's no surprise that things come to an end. The problem is, many of us, we are so attached that when it's time for us to disconnect, it's difficult and it's daunting and it's human. It is part of our humanity. So don't beat up on yourself. Give yourself grace. But I also want you to pay attention to those cycles that you've been creating, those patterns. You can see them. Last year, were you in the same position Even though you said last year you were breaking away from this person, you were going to make a change. You weren't going to do the same things you did in your relationship anymore. You were going to be devoted or loyal, or you're going to be committed, whatever it is for you. Did you say all those things last year and you find yourself in the same predicament this year because you really didn't make any changes, any authentic changes? So I give you the story that I shared with this person. My last relationship, I'm not talking about having sex with different people, not that, where I was actually in a relationship and we lived together. That last relationship got to a level of toxicity that strained my physical body. My emotions were drained. My mind was exhausted. In a combined with what was going on at work, that thing there, I developed high blood pressure. And I talk about this in my book, Healing from Emotional Traumas. I talk about it openly now because part of healing is being able to recognize what the problem was and also to admonish your journey to healing and recovery. So I'm not ashamed, but I did some things during that time. I allowed some things during that time that I really, truly, heavens knows, should not have accepted, should not have allowed. But for whatever reasons at that time, that is what I accepted. And some of the reasons were, I was at a place where I just wanted to be in a relationship. I no longer wanted to be, just sleeping with people. I had been married before. I'm a divorcee, and so I know how to be in a relationship. But I can hear you saying, but you're a divorcee. Maybe you don't. You're right there too. And I don't think it's because I don't know how to be in a relationship. I think it's because I know when to end a relationship that is no longer working. So we can have it. You can say that and I can say this. So anyway, but I think part of it is, one, I wanted to be in a relationship. I wanted that family unit. Two, I really wanted to have a sibling for my daughter. She's an only child, and I didn't want her to go through life just being an only child. And he already had a son, and we were actively working on having a child so that I could have another child and she would have a sibling. And it was also this idea too, because my other situations didn't work out and I was in a place of maybe it's me. So maybe I should just put up with a lot more of these things to see, if this relationship will work. Because maybe my expectations were too unrealistic before. Maybe my standards were too high before. So now I'm just going to, let me just kind of deal with this. Things that I would never, in the former version of myself, deal with. And so accepting some of those behaviors and tendencies and all of these things, I opened myself up to trauma. I contributed to creating my own hurt and pain and disappointment. Even after I got pregnant, had a miscarriage, and everything surrounding that situation, those situations, I still did not sever ties with this guy. I did not walk away from him even after all the things. And I guess I'll share all the things either in another book or on my Patreon account, so you can pay to hear about that. But in sincerity, I did not walk away then. I told myself I would. I told myself that I would, and I did. But then he would come around and I would melt. Because physically he was like my kryptonite, it felt like at that time. And I got myself in another set of pickle with this person. That if I had walked away for real, I would not have added this additional burden to everything else that I was dealing with, an additional healing that I had to do, because now I've contributed to more wounds pains and disappointments because I did not sever ties when I should have with this person. And we were still carrying on sexually. And I remember the day I was in my house and he came over and I physically felt nauseated, like to my stomach. So when people say you get sick and tired, I was literally physically nauseated. Like, what are you doing, Marsha? You cannot do this. You cannot do this. No. And it was from that day. It was a no, and it's been a no. Now, let me be honest with you, because this is one of those exes that will continually ask me to go back to that space. He still wants to be sexually involved. And part of the reason is, I know this, is that he uses sex as a way of expressing his emotions. And I know this about him. I know, and I believe that he's apologetic for everything that has transcended. But the truth of the matter is, that doesn't mean I need to go back. That doesn't mean I need to give him access in the same way he had access before. And so setting those boundaries are for my protection and preservation. I know that part of him understands it, but another part of him is like, how are you not letting me in now? You've done it before. But I have to continuously say, no. You know how in a relationship, a healthy relationship, those two people choose each other and keep choosing each other every day? When you have been in a toxic relationship that causes you depression, that causes you to be acting out of your mind, that causes you to lose yourself, you have to daily choose to say no. And it's not, some days are going to be easier than others. Some days you find yourself almost saying maybe. But it needs to be a no over and over and over, and you choose no because you have to honor the former version of yourself that was hurt and traumatized, that was disappointed, that was betrayed and neglected. You have to honor that part of yourself and honor your healing process, your recovery process. It is a dishonor to yourself if you go back to a situation and keep going back to a situation that continuously yields poor results. It's a dishonor. And if you have children, you have to consider the examples that you're setting for them. What would you tell your daughter? What would you tell your son if they were in a similar situation? Because I've been through so much, and I'm talking about this last relationship alone, I'm now at a place where even though there are days that I'm lonely, I can sit up with this person and we can sit here, and I would not advise that for everyone. The only reason I'm at this place where I can sit with this person, be in his company, is because I have healed and I've recovered, and my no is no. That is a thing I learned from him. I guess I didn't learn it from him, but he definitely reiterated it, and I understood the importance of your no being no and your yes being yes, that you honor your word, that if you say something, you follow through. See, the problem with a lot of us, why we keep repeating the same patterns and reopening wounds, is because we do not honor our words to ourselves. We say one thing and do another. And so when you are that internally conflicted, people who just want to use you for whatever reason, or just want to, not necessarily that they're overtly trying to use you, but they want what they want. They're going to continue getting what they want because you are fighting with yourself. They're not fighting. They know what they want. They want to take from you. They want to get what they want from you. You're the one that's conflicted. So until you get to a point where you are physically nauseated, and that might not be the case for everyone, but it definitely was the case for me. And this is someone I can say I love, but I'm not going to use love as an excuse, as a reason, as a motivation to get back into a situation that will dishonor the healing and the recovery that I went through. It was not easy. It was not easy laying in bed, depressed from a miscarriage and everything else that's going on in my relationship and work, and feeling like I am swallowed by darkness and having the hardest time to just get up, literally physically get myself out of the bed to go wash my face. That alone was tough. And to know that I've gotten from that place to where I am today, for me to go back is a dishonor and a disgrace to the process that I had to go through to get to where I am today. So my encouragement to you is, and I'm saying this understanding, that it's not always easy to keep your no as no. Like it's not easy for those who keep choosing their partners to say yes. I understand that. But I am going to encourage you to continue saying no to those situations that you know are not good for you. They are not yielding the fruits that you deserve. They're not yielding the fruits that you want. Give yourself grace, but also stay accountable and responsible for your actions and your contribution to the situation that you are in. Only you can be your savior. And when I say that, I also want you to know, I understand that sometimes it takes a higher power to pull you from that place, that depressed state. I get that. But you have to allow that supernatural force, that ever-present force, to assist you, to pull you out and not dishonor it, not dishonor the assistance by going back. But I'm not being judgmental, and I don't want you to feel ashamed for going back. Because I've done it. I have dishonored some of the life lessons that I've learned. But I'm in a different place now. And so all the decisions I make now is to honor the lessons that I've learned, to honor the experiences that I've gone through, to honor the healing, the recovering, to support and love on the little Marsha, the younger version of me, the one who had to push through, the one who had to be resilient, the one who had to be courageous and push through to get to this place today. I have to honor that former version of me. So with that, I hope you can hear my heart. I hope you can take that as encouragement to get to the other side of this threshold, to know that there is love and peace and greatness and joy and laughter and support and fruitfulness and positivity on the other side of this. It's a decision away. It's a decision away. So make that decision today. Make that decision to keep going in the path of the peace you seek and not to return back to those places that you know that's not where you belong. That's not where you need to be. Walk away and do not look back. I am Marsha Kerr, Talley. I hope you could receive me tonight. Have a good night. Bless up. Bye.